Morning. Using this for today, since somebody was bitching about not being able to hear clearly. But the funny thing about the ego, right, is that it reveals itself so quickly, especially in people's comments, and how it tries to put others down, but then it won't pick itself up, and it wants to poke in on other people's stuff, but it doesn't have a voice of its own, and how it wants to like do a secret investigation to get an upper hand on somebody, but then when everything's there available, then it's like, nah, that's nothing. But I'm gonna poke in and point out. But I'm not gonna be there to show my face or my voice. That's I get that a lot. Those that come in and try to assert themselves on my page, and then I go look at their page, and they don't even have their face. They don't have anything. They don't. They've never made just talk to anybody. It always has to be about somebody else's stuff, but then they're trying to gather that but it's not even focused. It's like everyone's trying to run away from themselves and trying to steal themselves from others, but it's not focused or unfocused. It's this back and forth between the ego that's missing, where it's not present. It can't hold an idea and then pull that idea forward and be like, aha. So here is an aspect of self. It's always missing in action and a POW to itself. How strange is that? And it wants to always hide, but then to come out and be like, oh, from my corner, I got something on that person. Oh yeah, I'm gonna get him. But competition automatically says that the ego's missing its ass out. Because what's the competition? It's you against you. And that's where everybody got fucked up when they saw the image of Christ. Then it became a competition, or it bent them in half, or they gave themselves up, and then they're like, oh, I'm about that because that's something that I can use to my advantage. If you got that ain't an advantage. Let me tell you that much. That ain't an advantage. That's a disadvantage, especially if you were him. And if you want to be near him, that's also a disadvantage. Because if you got him, then you don't need him. So that means you'll be separated from him in the real world. And so then you can hold on to that ego. And you can enjoy it in your corner by yourself or with your group talking about it. But then you're missing the point. You're missing yourself, and you're missing the space that's available to be yourself and to express yourself. And it puts you in a box where there's only one book and there's only one way to see things. And so who's on the cross? Yeah, what's a cross? If you can't even be accountable. But, we'll just see what comes out this morning. Let's get the coins here. Maybe tomorrow I'll get a new microphone. We'll see how that goes. Because I do this for me. I don't do this for anybody else. I do this for me and my higher self. And hey, we're one and the same dude. So, yeah. Ain't that a bitch? No, that's the love of my life. What we got here? 3, 6, 7, 8. 8 it is. Eight again. And besides, being too much about Jesus, that's idol worship. That's blasphemy in itself. It says, take up your cross. Well, that is my cross. In a sense, and that's what everybody else is carrying around is their cross to bear. And if you got it, you got to let it go. But I don't have it, and I got too much of it. So it's one thing that is actually relevant to my existence, to be about and to understand more in depth than anyone else. and removed from it too, because the fuck is that? I don't know. 3, 6, 7, 8 again. It's 3 eights. Look, we're talking about it. 8, 8, 8. 8 again. If it's all eights, it's Earth. 8 again. 8 again. Look at that. Double, triple eight confirmation. Now we're at Earth. Welcome home, everybody. Don't worry about that fucking angel. He screwed everybody up. And at least he made everybody have to reflect on what the fuck they're doing for a little while. Before I got here, set things straight. Earth on Earth. Yeah, it's number 2. I know we pulled it in the cards, but the cards aren't exactly the same as the book. And it's called the Receptive. Yeah, we're receptive. And the Receptive, fuck, I'm beaming it. I ain't got nothing but high beams. Great success, beneficial to the chaste mare. Cultured people have places to go. If they get lost first, it is to their advantage to find a leader later on. With yin with yin companions and no yang companions, there is peace. All female, right? It bodes well to be steadfast and true. Maybe I got that backwards. I believe yang is masculine. Sometimes it's easy to get those things confused because of the way they have everything backwards in the world. Once you think about something too long, it gets all switched up. Perfect indeed is the greatness of the receptive earth, which sustains the birth of all beings in accords with what it receives from heaven. The richness of earth supports beings. Its virtue is one with the unbounded. It contains within it a vast glory and magnificence through which all things and beings successfully exist. The mare is akin to the earth, traveling the earth without bound, gentle and docile, helpful and faithful. Cultured people are going somewhere. Earlier, they got lost and strayed from the way. Later, they follow and have attained the eternal. Having yin companions is going with peers. Having no yang companions means joy is in the end. The good omen of stability and steadfastness corresponds to the boundlessness of earth. Cultured people support others by enriching character. And since I had a question about that, I want to refresh because I don't like to hold things in a place where I'm not sure. Come on. So slow. That's right. Yin is the feminine principle. See? Agreeance. 851. Yeah, surrounded by the feminine. That's beneficial. And no men. Good. Let me light my candles here. Oh, let's see. What do we want to talk about today? Today we're guided to focus on letting go of analysis to some degree and feeling. Because analyzing is very masculine, where it wants everything to have a form and a structure and a box and a place to go. And femininity, well, there's lots of there's curves and shadows and what could be seen as a stretch mark or a flaw or a defect. And these are the things that make things beautiful when there's change. If the world was masculine, it would be an entirely ice world, or it would be all rock, or it would be all fire. It would be a dead place. And there would be no water, as water is the feminine principle. And we're guided to focus creativity upon the world. With the 5th house and the 10th house, there's 510. And 666 on 18. Virgo, I analyze. But it's about letting go of that analysis. See, that's what's one thing that's confusing and wrong with the Bible, because it's using the Holy Spirit before the Holy Spirit was fully defined, because he'd never existed before. So the words in it and the history behind it is something besides the point, and there's no way for you to absolutely prove that that was true. But even if you do, then what the words say in and of themselves by the Holy Spirit says something totally separate and removed, that's talking to your spirit and has nothing to do with what it appears the surface level contents are. And so that makes the Bible was created in order for the mind to go down a rabbit hole, to be trapped. It's meant as a soul trap, to capture souls and to keep them bound. And in fear. And holding the ego and thinking that it read something in that book, and so then it has something against and over others that makes it higher up, that makes it greater than other people. That even in its humbleness, then that makes it greater because I turned the other cheek because Jesus said. And so then this is all ego based. And not responsible for speaking his truth and being here like we are at this moment. It's where one's holding on to an idol and an idol worship separate from one's own abilities and one's own colorful spirit, which is like the rainbow. And so we're guided to look forward and to leave the shore behind with this 3 of Wands here, where she's getting ready at night to set out and surf. Brings good luck, leaving things of the past behind. If one's already read it, already witnessed it, then it's already within you, in the subconscious, which is the Great Mother, the one that holds that little speck of light, what he looks like all the way in the back by himself, which is the pinhole which each is looking through. But she is everything between here and there, whether you've witnessed it or not witnessed it, and it's already contained within. And so we're given the beauty in this, reminded of such, where we have the Tower in reverse, where all is not lost, nothing has been lost. And in this card, specifically, there's butterflies flying in the storm. Transformation, in destruction. But we have it in reverse, where we have the objective point of view outside of the card, outside of the storm, able to see all the elements in place and not hold on to one of them and go, oh, well, that's my group, that's my fight, that's my people. Because that's very insecure. Looking for a place to belong, unless you're able to belong in all places, in all times, with all people, with or without the Messiah. Because, well, if he's already inside of you and you believe in him, then that's all one needed, right? That's John 3:16. If you believe, then that's all you needed. You could drop the book. You can walk away from the church. You're building it where you're at. That's the light in your eyes. If you have to abandon yourself every Sunday to go get it, then it's asking each, where's your temple at? Where's your place to worship? And what are you worshiping? If it's not the entire world and the entire essence of oneself, and working with those stretch marks, working with the pains and struggles of the past in order so that they all may be healed. The masculine aspect is about revenge. It's about striking back. It's about hiding in the dark and with the blade. The female aspect is ever present and always holding each within the womb and nursing it to his chest. Even when the baby starts throwing a tantrum, the little boy's throwing a tantrum, just comfort him. Sooner or later, yeah, he just wants a boob. And that's each of our egos as this strong part of us, but this very infantile, weak part that we use against each other unfairly. And we hold it against ourselves as both our weakness and our strength. And the universe has placed it like that before I could arrive. Because everyone's caught in trying to hold on to it here, or trying to run away from it, or trying to echo off of it. And well, then it arrives, and it's like, what the hell? Why is everybody playing dodgeball and wall ball with themselves? And where the fuck's everybody at? In competition with what? I don't get it. Oh, but everybody that's about what I'm about is going to be as far away from me as possible. But only holding on to a piece of it, thinking, well, it's about my house and my family. It's about my church and my country and my state and mine. Me, 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 me. That's why that's his name. That's not your name. And it's pronounced May. But each is of that. Since nobody has a name, that your name was given to you. You didn't pick that. So his name in ancient times was called No Name. But everyone's naturally No Name. And if you want to pride yourself on your name, well, then that's a curse against you. Or is it? It's a very deep philosophical debate of understanding. Considering, yeah, it's psychology, and it's something greater than that. Yes, it's magic, and it's something greater and less than that. And yes, it is about God, and it's something besides that. And it is about division and individuality, and it's about all-inclusiveness, and it's something besides that, where there's room for each of us to stand in our differences all together everywhere on earth and know we're of the same cut from the same cloth. Because what is the cloth but the tapestry of the night sky? That each of us is a star that belongs there. We're reminded that we make our own luck. And a lot of that has to do with surrender. Because how did he come to you? It wasn't by wanting it. It wasn't by demanding, get over here right now, or begging for him to come. has a lot to do with letting go and holding on to that which is true and being in the flow in solidarity with ourselves. The end of strife here again. Finishing discord. Well, where's the miscommunication? Who's trying to lead anybody on to get advantage and hiding who they are? I mean, especially if that which is Sophia is what each thing irradiates. And where you've just been, or what you were just thinking about, when you speak to the next person, then by the details, that's what comes out. It gives you, everyone is giving themselves away naturally. And so the funny thing is, when I give myself away, then the Holy Spirit's bent upon the Holy Spirit. So you can't read it the same. And everyone else is trapped in a similar spell that is bound by the Masons because of a reflection spell upon everything. And if you didn't make up your own way of understanding things, then you're busy not being there, trying to echo off of things that state that you're not there, that the wall's real, that the words are real, that the company's real, but you're the entity that's missing and dead, and so that you're the spirit that's going to come and give those things life. But you don't have a life in and of yourself in your own individual light. And so then they'll raise you up quickly that way because you're giving life and light to to their dead things. And that's what business is based upon, which is why it's a corpus, a dead body, but then it is filled with gathering souls based upon their names as entities to make it run, as the slaves that don't have a body, as it were. And all these things were made in such a way so that they could be brought to the light, so each could see them and understand them in and of themselves and against and for oneself, so that each could find their way to their own light. Because only one guy has that truth. But that's the truth of everybody since the beginning of time. There's one separate from all of us. But we're all part of him. Everybody's Krishna. Everybody's balanced in Vishnu. They got a whole bunch of snakes in their head, but then they put on a smiley face. But that's me, but not like me at all. That's inside out. So we have to embrace the energy of peace. In all ways. Instead, what we have is whoever's in charge ends up getting up on the podium and saying, we're going to take over this country. Fuck Taylor Swift. It's going to be a bloodbath. I swear to God, I'm going to make all of you turn on each other when I get into office. And that's my power. People are going to die. It's because I said so. And you're supposed to respect that. Look at how powerful I am. It's going to be a bloodbath. But I'm not touching a single person. So if anybody loses their life and adopts this bloodbath, it wasn't me. It's on all you guys. Yeah, you guys are the people running this country. And so if it's fucked up, it ain't my fault. It's your fault. What we got here? We got Stargazer. Look beyond the cardboard cutout, people. They're trying to incite conquering others, conquering places, pushing people around, saying, well, my country is about peace, but, we need to deploy troops because there's other people that are coming in and taking lives. But they're not lives that I'm protecting because, well, I'm hiding in the parliament. And those people are out there and they're not protected, even though they're supposed to be under my protection, and that's why they voted me into office. So we got to set our sights higher than our leaders. They're not doing a whole lot for anybody. They're not even able to sit there and to talk. Everything is hidden, hush money, and they won't even say exactly what happened and just pull out their phone and be like, yeah, so, when I was hanging out with that porn star, this is exactly what happened. This is why I did it. And, so I have a fetish for her because when I was this age or whatever, they can't explain nothing. And then to be like, oh, I'm supposed to be the leader, but I can't speak for myself, and all I do is I speak for the entire country. But the entire country and me are two things that aren't related at all. And I could sweep anything I want to under the rug, and never be here to face and speak of anything that's true. It's always about something else. So thanks for making me your leader. I can do whatever I want to, even against my own marriage. Yes, we only want cheaters as presidents. Unanimously, everybody wants a cheater as a president. So we have to trust in the higher forces of the shaman that such people are bound against their own spirit based upon the cliques, and those that have paid them are imprisoned against their own words, and that's why they can't speak for themselves. And only those with money can support them because they aren't willing to be face to face and look eye to eye. The first thing that they're wanting to do is run off to Russia, run off to Israel, and get paid and make secret deals behind America's back, and then right in the face be like, yeah, but we're going to take over the Gulf of Mexico, we're going to take over Greenland, we're going to take over Panama Canal, but I'm going to go talk to my friends at Russia who's bombing Ukraine. I'm going to go talk to my friends in Israel, who are bombing Gaza and Jerusalem, and because I need to find out how I can control shit and be like, yeah, but our country's running great. Yeah, America. We just can't just have a conversation and trust our instincts. Everything's going to go right. We had an owl and an owl. So we each got to look outside the current situation because that which is in the media is just distraction. It's bullshit. Has little to do with anything. And if anything, all the bad things that are happening were created and caused by those that are in control. They're the ones that paid people and set up the situation, or with all their money and power, they can't even step in and stop anything to prove their power. They just keep letting with billions of dollars. You got AI, you got drones, you got robots that can do a 4th of July show with thousands of drones, and you can't have them drones show up as Elon Musk and then the multi-billionaire Donald Trump to show up, just go pick up have all this go pick up some water and drop it on and save Mel Gibson's house. No, we're gonna let it burn. Yeah, because that's what we wanted to happen. We're the ones that allowed it to happen. We're going to keep it perpetuating. Otherwise, we would have stopped it. So we need chaos and everyone to be confused rather than inserting and showing our power by ever actually doing anything besides making threats and taking over things and then proving how we're working with our enemies. But and then turning on our enemies and enemies turning on us. But we went over, as soon as we were elected, we didn't talk to the American people. We went over to the bad guys and hooked up with the mafia to see if they could back us up. Like, what kind of conversation is this? And this is what's supposedly running the American continent. Why do we need to take over Mars? Why do we need to take over Panama Canal? When we can't even take care of one little fucking fire with 300 million people in the country and all the technology there is? Oh, we got 5 guys out there just driving over, flying over to the farthest away reservoir because all the closest ones they drained, and then flying back and be like, oh, here's a couple drops of water. We're trying, but money doesn't do anything. Power doesn't do anything. See, it's all on you guys. It must be God's doing it. But who controls the weather? The government controls the weather. It's called NextRad, based upon the technology that they seeded in and worked on since the late 80s in Alaska. There is infinite proof on this. So whenever a tornado takes out of town, your president must have supported that. And so, of course, they're going to act like, so we're helping the rebuilding. We're sending money to you guys because we needed to rob everybody in order to rob everybody in order to rob everybody. And then we'll send you a little bit of help, but we're going to make you guys help each other while we can just like call over to the and tell them, hey, so, cause this massive hailstorm or this tornado. And they're controlling it directly. And then acting like and playing God above and below and actually making all the destruction. And with all the power they have, they don't make anything go right. Where's the love and compassion? There's a guy standing up on the podium that barely even exists because he can't speak for himself, and he definitely can't speak for the American people because he ain't nothing like the American people. He doesn't know what that's like. He's been babysat since the day he was born, and then he's got this huge ego that says, "Well, I'll fire everybody that I want to." See, that's who's in power. Those that just fire people and then go home and look, I got all my kids. My kids are taken care of. I got all this money. I can do whatever I want to. But I'm helping people. Maybe so, but if God's doing it, well. Let go. You ain't helping people. Just using that as an excuse to push people around. And that's the system we live under. Can't speak for itself. And it's controlled under God. But where's God? When everything that the situation is built upon is the absence of God, and God is the thing under attack, and the system which is against God owns all the churches in order to keep everybody mesmerized under a magic spell. To keep everyone weak, to keep everyone clinging to each other, unable to stand their own ground, carry their own cross by themselves, and balancing with all others. That's the conversation for today. That's why the president is the furthest thing from a sovereign being that there is on the face of the earth. Owned by the Vatican, owned by the crown, owned by those that elected him, owned by those that ponied up all the money for him to get there, owned by the organizations and such that raised him up in order to be the idol. The idol that, what does the idol do? If it can't speak for itself, it can't speak for others, it can't hang out among the regular people. Instead, it strikes out and tries to attack those that are on drugs. It doesn't try to help anybody that's on drugs. And the greatest drug that everyone's on is church. But that's where it steals the cream off the top and takes advantage of everyone and then removes them from their own lives and separates them from their own higher self in order to put it on the outside of them in order to be owned above and below, Masonic and non-Masonic. The royals and the plebs. When, of anything, God and the Christ would have come and had to hold that all by himself with everything else. All the history, all that shit on his back. And it means something else. Everybody's lost. Lost as fuck. Unless they cleared their heart. And they can speak as they are. And tell the truth. The whole truth and nothing but the truth. And it might change in 5 minutes because I found out new information. Or because my feelings changed. But I can express that too. And not put it on somebody else. Any more than everything else puts it upon itself. So I guess that's what I got to say right now. I wish everyone have a wonderful, blessed day. Everyone to should do something for yourself today. Carve out an hour to be away from your devices and to paint, to go for a walk in the woods, to think about the divine being as a part of you and the wholeness of everything that surrounds you, and not about this figure that is what is between everything and keeping everyone apart, and the blade that's attacking from two sides when there are no sides. There's wholeness and there's absence. But when they exist in the same spot, then we have flow, we have truth and being and organization automatically.